Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
What's happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I'm, of course, Jimmy, and my microphone is working, I promise. A little bit of new decor, a little bit of new. What do we think? What do you think? There's a little on-air sign there that was a jokey present, but look at this. Look at this beautiful crest in the background. So, I am, of course, Jimmy. We are proudly sponsored by Action Coach Sheffield, who had a fantastic masterclass earlier today. Thank you to John and the team for putting it on. Myself and Dave the Nose Leary and Ian the Blade were there. So, yeah, we really good, really informative, and some big plans coming in. Thank you again, John, for your advice and your support of the channel. VMB Auto Centres don't sponsor the warm-up, but they're a channel sponsor, and I just think it's mad if I don't mention that they have got an offer on for MOTs at the minute for 15 quid at Handsworth. So if you want details of VMB Auto Centres, thank you to them for continuing to support us. And as this is the warm-up, we're sponsored by Triple Point as well. We won't be at the game as we're away, and I'm doing a watch-along on Friday. Let me see if I can get my little... Have I got my thingy prepped? Should have. And there we go. Yes. So that's our watch-along. On Friday, we'll be here from 7:30, I think I've said. It's kickoff's at 8. It's either 7:30 or 7:15. I'll confirm it online. And I'm actually doing that with Andy the Blade. So thank you to my dad for joining me for that one. Looking forward to it. But look, we will get to Hull. And I always seem to do this on the warm-up, but there always seems to be something to talk about. The news of the day, and there's been a fair bit of news out of surrounding United recently. We're not going to get a chance to cover the takeover tonight. There's no major update. Obviously, there's rumours flying around that it's on the rocks. But what I'm talking about tonight, I want to focus on, and I might struggle to get to your comments tonight, so I apologise. I'll do my best. Anel Ahmedhodzic has retired from international football at the age of 25, which is obviously no age. There's usually a reason behind it. He's released a lengthy statement, which Danny Hall has covered extensively in the Sheffield Star. So Danny Hall is the place to go and seek out all of the information. But basically, he's retired from international duty. He's left the camp. He wasn't part of the 5-2 defeat to the Netherlands over the weekend. I've got a statement in front. I'm not a big reader, which you'll all be aware, but I've obviously got something to refer to this time. So bear with me. But the coach had said he'd expressed the desire to leave the camp, which Anel has said resulted in abuse aimed at him and his family this week from the fans of Bosnia. If I didn't want to play for the national team, I'd simply call the coach, tell him no thank you, and not go. I travelled to Eindhoven immediately upon my arrival. I told the medical staff that I had a bad feeling in my hamstring. They said okay and took me to an ultrasound. The Dutch doctor was at the ultrasound, said that he saw a small injury there and wanted to do I wanted to do an MRI scan to make sure nothing's broken. They didn't want to give me an MRI scan. I kept training every day and I could never sprint. The last training over there, I did a small sprint and felt it go bad. So the medical team wanted to keep going with what they were doing and do therapy work with me every day, which did not help at all. So basically, they're putting off treating his injury because they want him to get through the games for them. Not putting the players' welfare for this is Anel's account, obviously. For them, they deemed me to be fit to play without doing proper check. It's very unserious and amateur level. The last time I was deemed fit to play by the medical team was when I was injured before the Luxembourg game, and they made me do some sprinting before that game, which resulted in me getting more seriously injured. So he's had previous experience of this where he's been asked to play when he's not 100% fit and doesn't feel comfortable in his own body without proper treatment. I did speak to the director of the national team. We had a good talk. I told him I won't be of any use here and I would like to get properly checked and start rehab as fast as possible, and he agreed. The reason I didn't respond to them after I came back to Sheffield was because they said to me one thing and to the media differently. At the end, it was a correct decision by me as they properly checked me here in Sheffield, started my rehab, start light training on Wednesday, and if it progresses well, I'll be playing on Friday. Okay, so he's gone back to United. We've treated him. But so that's a shame that he's had a bit of a falling out with the national team coach, and at 25 to lose what I can only assume is their best player, because I don't know any other Bosnian players. But the main news came from an incident or an airing of dirty laundry, if you like, family business, and you never know what goes on behind closed doors, do you? So I'm going to go through this part where he talks about his dad. Addressing his relationship with his father in the statement, Anel said, "I did not want to make this public, nor do I think it should be public. But it's reached a point where I cannot ignore it anymore. The only thing you want as a son from your father is support and proudness. Unfortunately, I very rarely got it. What I did get most of the time was manipulation, lies, deceit, and abuse almost every day. It doesn't matter if I don't succeed where I want to go in my career. I will do everything correctly, and I have pride in the hard work I do every day." He also stated many times that I want to leave Sheffield United and that I don't want to be here, which has hurt my reputation over here, and which is completely false. It is a city and a club that has given me my best memories in life, including the birth of my son. I have a very strong faith with Allah, and it can never be taken from me. I will do everything I can to protect my family and people I care about from evil people like him. He's talking about his own dad there. So there's obviously been what appears now to be an irreparable rift between them. Well, again, you don't know what goes on behind closed doors, and everybody has got their own issues. There'll be people watching now that have an estranged relationship with their parents, and that is unfortunate, but people will have their reasons for that. I'm very fortunate, and you can all see on screen my relationship with my dad and my family is very close. So I can't imagine having this sort of breakdown of relationship like this with anybody in my family. It's obviously gone on for such a long time, and we don't know the reasons. What I will say is, and I have to try and balance this out a little bit. It sounds awful, and I'll go on to finish what he says. It sounds awful what he's been talking about, but this is Anel's perspective, and it's very dangerous just to take one slight of things and run with it. In terms of people have been clutching on to he's been saying, I want to leave Sheffield United, and it's not true. The only thing I'll say about this, because the treatment is a much bigger issue, but about his dad and things like that. But people are like, oh, well, he don't want to leave. He never wanted to leave. I don't think that necessarily means, I mean, for example, come January, he'll have 18 months left on his contract. In the summer, if he hasn't signed a new one, we'll be in the Illiman and Sander situation and the Jadon Bogle situation. So I don't take this as I'm loyal blindly to Sheffield United. It's just great to see him enjoying his football again. And that's last I'll mention on any sort of controversial aspect of it, because the rest of it is really important to highlight. And he needs our support, and I think that's right. He's come back this season. A lot of people thought he might have a poor attitude and just assumptions, really, and not really put it in. And he has. Nobody can say anything else. To say to this is again Anel talking about his dad. To say to my wife, to say that my wife's done black magic on me is very insulting. And to my wife especially, she's been amazing. It's very hard to find a woman who will take care of you as good as she does, and I'm very happy my son has such an incredible mother. And then to say she doesn't let me go on international duty, this is very funny and shows what level of intelligence this liar has. There are many football wives who don't care about their husband's football, but she's never missed a match. Even when she was 9 months pregnant, she came to my match just a few days before she gave birth to my son. She's my biggest supporter, and to say she doesn't let me go is just silly. But what do you expect from a narcissist? I'm very disappointed, but not surprised, that it's come to this. I never wanted it to be public. But when you have a father who actively tries to control you, push you down, and hurt your reputation, I needed to do this. He does go on and say more, but I'm not going to keep going, because it's all in Danny Hall's article, and if you want to find the full breakdown, then it's best to go there and read it from Danny's source. So his dad has responded, and it's just, so when I say there's two sides to everything, there is, but you can make your own assumptions on what type of a character this Mursad, I think he's called, something like that, Ahmedhodzic is. Because the first thing he's done in response to Anel's statement is posted on Facebook, which he's got an open account, I believe. Everything he says is a lie. He lied to the national team. He lied to his parents. There is nothing to believe in him. And she directs all of that to him. She narrowed it down until she gave him the child. Well, now about the child, I defend my Isaac and blah, blah. The question is, how can it be his child? She is from Montenegro. He is from England for 2 months. She was not pregnant 2 months earlier. Maybe I am wrong. I told him that I will check your DNA. It's absolutely outlandish. And look, we don't know if there's any truth to it or not. And to be fair, it's not our business. He's a public figure, but this is his private life. This is not what he signed up to. He knows that as a famous footballer playing in the top 2 divisions of England, you're going to be scrutinised heavily under the press. But this is his own dad. This is his own dad outing him. It's not a journalist who's undercovered, salacious information. What a horrendous thing to even say to your son about your son in a public forum. It's harsh enough to do it privately. And then he's only about 10, 15 minutes ago, just before I came on, he's posted a picture of a little lad, which, is his grandson, not Anel's lad. He's put Grandpa's warrior. This is the child when he told me, Grandpa, I will be better than Anel, because he's out playing football on this picture, but I will never leave you like him. Awful, awful. And people are rightly now rallying behind Anel, because what a sad situation. And one of the sort of more light-hearted things is that people are actively trying to come up with a song for Anel now. And I'm all up for stuff like this. I know there's different, opinions on songs and this, but Jez Garrett has posted one and I've retweeted it. So if you follow me on X or Twitter, then you can go and see it there. But it's The Common People by Pulp. And it's one of my dad's favourite songs. I don't know whether to sing it or just talk you through it because it's really good. He came from Malmo with a thirst for knowledge. He said, my name is Anel Ahmedhodzic. That's when I first said hi. He told me that his dad's a D-head. I said, in that case, I'll have a blue wicked. He said, fine. And then in 30 seconds time, he said, I want to live like Sheffield people. I want to do whatever Sheffield people do. Want to eat greasy chip butties. I want to eat greasy chip butties with you. Or what else could I do? I said, I'll see what I can do. That's not going to be a chant on terraces, is it? But what a brilliant song for Jez to make up. Brilliant, Jez. Spot on that, mate. The only other shout out I'm going to give to a potential song is in our Ramblers chat, Kyle. I don't know if I can find it now, but it's supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I don't think we've got another line, but there's definitely potential in those there. So yeah, that was the Anel news. Let me know in the comments what you think. As I say, I'll probably struggle to get to a lot of comments tonight, so I do apologise. We're only here for half an hour on the warm-up. We're here for a good time, not for a long time. Speaking of things that look a little bit odd, well, not that we're really talking about that, but things that do look a little bit odd. What about this? I'm not a fan of this. I'm not a fan of this at all. And it's hard because I'm pleased for John Egan. Apparently he's on a low downside guarantee, and he'll trigger another year apparently if they get promoted, because he's got a deal till the end of the season. But if they get promoted, he gets another year. It's a great deal for him, for Burnley. I still don't think he's fit, or from what I understand, he's not going to be fit, and there's a high risk that there may be a reoccurrence of the injury. So I'm not saying we should have been in. I've seen a lot of that online where we should have been in to get him back. And I think a lot of it is pining for the player that we remember him being. And you've got to remember, he's 31 now, which is still no age really, but he's had a really bad injury. And it's just a case of, will he come back anywhere near the same player? A lot of people are saying he was not the same player even before he got injured. So that's me clutching at straws really. I'd love to have John Egan as part of the squad. I thought he was a fantastic servant for us, and I do wish him all the best. Obviously, there'll just be 2 games that I'm hoping he doesn't perform in this season if he plays. Another one that I'm ironically quite pleased for, and this just shows the the fickle nature of fans, I suppose, because I think John Egan still has something to give Sheffield United potentially. I don't like his move to Burnley, but because I'm pretty confident John Fleck is way past his peak, and I mean that in the nicest possible sense. I really love this for him. He's moved to Chesterfield, and what a player he is for that level, League Two. They'll be at top end at league. It'll be a maestro for him in the middle in League Two. So I wish John Fleck all the best. Another unbelievable servant for us. The first ever honour free from Coventry. I know it's Callum O'Hare now, but yeah. So two Blades getting a big move, or the next move in the career. So right, what we're coming on to next. So we will go on to watch your team, but first of all, we haven't done this for a while, and it got quite good feedback last time, so I've done another one. I've reached out to another fan channel, and I've got a breakdown on our opponents for Friday night, Hull. So this is Sam from Hull City Fan Central.
Hello there, I'm Sam from the Hull City Fan Central YouTube channel, and this is our rundown. Well, Hull City have been very busy this summer. A lot of players left the club earlier on in the window, and then towards the end of the window, we was just buying anyone that had legs and could move, basically. So a lot of key players have left. A lot of players have been brought in that have got points to prove, whether they've been at clubs where they haven't really performed too well, or they're coming into the club now and they've got a loan and it could be a permanent deal. A lot of smart tactical signings by Hull City. Well, some fans are liking the manager change and some fans aren't. It's a bit of a 50-50 case, depends on who you ask. As the run of form so far with no win for Tim Walter at Hull City, it kind of says that some fans still do have faith in Tim Walter and his style of play. I'm one of them. I say trust the process. But I can see both arguments, but personally, I am sticking with Tim Walter, and I do think that it was possibly the good change at the moment. We're most likely to start off the game with a 4-2-3-1. With Tim Walter's style of play, though, it can adapt, it can change at any moment. He likes to adapt that total football-esque and really incorporate his whole team was all over the pitch. So we might see our centre-back going up and playing striker for a few minutes. You can see all sorts, but for the most part, a 4-2-3-1. Coming into this game, our main threat may possibly be Louis Coyle. He's had a fantastic start to the season, putting in a strong defensive shift over at right back. He's also contributed with a goal, a wonder strike it was, against Plymouth Argyle away on the second game of the season. Other than that, Liam Miller may provide a bit of a threat if Sheffield United don't know how to defend against him on the left flank. But other than that, there's no real strong threats from the Hull City squad coming off the back of the start of the season. Well, Hull City may have two weak links in our starting 11, but to be fair, both of them might not play. Certainly one of them I hope doesn't play, and that's Sean McLaughlin. We signed Charlie Hughes over the summer from Wigan Athletic, a young centre-back who's got bags of potential and loads to prove at the club. And he hasn't even made an appearance yet. Sean McLaughlin has, and he's been struggling to adapt to the Tim Walter style of play. So I'd love to see Charlie Hughes get in there. And the other possible weak link for the squad is Regan Slater. What? Now, Regan Slater, I'm sure Sheffield United fans will know him quite well, being a Sheffield United fan himself. Signing from you for 50 grand, I think it was. Yeah, he's not had the best of starts of the season, whether that's adapting to the Tim Walter style of play or whether he's just going through a bit of a rough patch and he'll probably come out this international break and be returning to the old 50 grand Regan Slater self. It's certainly going to be a tough test for Hull City. Sheffield United, it's a good team, isn't it? It's a good team on paper. On the end of the day, it's a fantastic team. Undefeated in the league as well. We've lost one game 2-0 to Leeds United last time out. First half we played all right. Second half, not so much. So it's certainly going to be a tough test for Hull City. I think that Sheffield United may have majority of the possession. They may have majority of the control on the game. But as we've seen so far this season, Sheffield United, you've not really taken your chances. You've provided a lot of chances. You had lots of shots on targets, but you haven't won any games by a massive landslide yet. No real standout wins. So it could be a very nitty-gritty affair. A lot of yellow cards as well for Sheffield United, where we haven't seen so many for Hull City. So it could be a bit more of a tactical affair, a few more fouls getting thrown in, a little bit of a feisty one, as we tend to see with the matchups between the Yorkshire clubs. I mean, there's lots of strengths in that Sheffield United squad. To go undefeated so far in the league, 2 draws, 2 wins, that has to say something. Certainly have got a very, very strong back line, and definitely a lot of creativity around the squad. I think the acquisitions that you brought in over this summer, and especially out on the wides, has provided a lot more creativity to your squad. And I am fearing for that in this game. A few weaknesses maybe in converting them chances into actual goals. I may be eating my words at the moment. I may come out of the game and Sheffield United have won 5-0 after having 20 chances. Well, my score prediction, I don't know if it's a bit of a Hull City bias, a bit of deluded optimism, which you kind of have to have with this club, or whether I'm actually going to be bang on the money. But I'm going for a 2-2 draw. I'm hoping Hull City pick up something from this game and really kickstart their season. I think a 2-2 draw will really shape things up for Tim Walter. But of course, both teams coming off the back of a little break, time to regather their thoughts. Sheffield United are undefeated, as I say, so it's going to be a tough one. But I'm going for a 2-2 draw, hoping for that elusive draw. So you can find me over on YouTube at the Hull City Fan Central. I'm also over on Twitter, or X, whatever it's called now. Same name, Hull City Fan Central over there. And go and drop me a follow if you like what I say about a little club called Hull City. Well, the season's very early at the moment. I always say don't look at the table until we've got a little bit of a way into the season, maybe not even until December. But it's going to be an early prediction, this, and I do think that both clubs will finish in the top 10. I think Sheffield United will finish in a playoff spot. I don't think they've got quite enough to have that dominant run to really see themselves in the top 2. I could be wrong, but I really chalk them down to have a similar season to what Southampton did last season in the Championship. And then for Hull City, anything in the top 10 would be a positive this season. Stick with Tim Walter and really push on next season. If we make it into a playoff spot, that's a bonus. If we make it into a top 2, I'm on cloud 9.
Brilliant from Sam. Thank you, mate. I think you need a little bit more orange in your presentation, but other than that, absolutely fantastic, mate. Yeah, brilliant. And as I said, that went down really well last time we did that. And I think it sort of adds a new dimension to the match preview, the warm-up, because I never really focus on the oppo. We're always bothered about what Sheffield United are doing. I think that's how we should go for the majority. But it is nice to get another fan's perspective on how they will play as well. And on that note, in terms of how Sheffield United will do, you know what my next question is, don't you? Don't you? What's your team? So, what's your team? And again, this is for those that are very new here. This is where you pick the team that you would play, not your predicted 11 that Wilder's going to pick. What team would you play? And this is my team. And it's no surprises really from me. Maybe the one controversial position would be right wing at the moment. But I think everybody else picks themselves really. And that's not really, if I'm honest, well, you can look at that in a positive or a negative way, because there's not the depth to challenge potentially, or the players that have got the shirt have got it on merit. So you could argue somebody like Kiefer Moore in the last game, who I think was unlucky rather than poor. If we'd had a different striker nipping at his heels, then maybe another striker gets in. But for me, I think this is the team we start with. Mike Cooper in goal. What an absolutely sensational signing he was, by the way, and is and will continue to be. Dean Henderson vibes all the way in terms of commanding his area and a calming presence, like we keep talking about. But I'd love the fact there is a blade. Top man, Anel, who gets all the support in the world, will partner Harry Suter. Jack Robinson may well return to fitness, but whether he does or he doesn't, for me, you can't drop either of these men for the way particularly the Watford performance. I think Anel were my man of the match, looking back at our at 90 after 90. The ever improving fullbacks retain their position. It's great to see both of them coming on and really gaining some momentum. The best midfield in the Championship, certainly the best midfielder in my books. Ollie Arblaster, Gus Amer, Callum O'Hare, even Vinny Souza on current performance, all keep their place. As I say, the one that's up for debate, I appreciate Raksaki comes with a bigger reputation, but I don't think you can drop Andre Brooks on the form that he's been on. I appreciate he had to sit out the last game due to concussion protocol, but he hasn't done anything to deserve to lose his shirt. And I don't think Raksaki did quite enough to take the shirt from him last time out. So we'll see what Wilder goes with, but I would stick with Brooks and maybe bring Raksaki on as a late threat. Is my number 9 leading the line. So what are your thoughts on that? Is your side any different? Is that going to be your lineup too? Score prediction, I think it's going to be tricky, actually. I'm going to go for a 2-1 United win. And you look at the results of both teams on paper, and it should be a bit of a layup that United continue the good form. Hull haven't won a game in the league, but they've made some good signings. And like Sam talked about Charlie Hughes, if he comes into the side, they've made a couple of really... Liam Miller's going to be a problem at some stage this season. I know we were linked with him at some... there were no official links, but I saw him mooted in some social media posts. So yeah, let me know what you think. I'm going 2-1 Blades. Let me know what you think as well. I'm going to fly through some comments because we've got 4 minutes left. Joe starts us off. Sad news about Anel, but shows we don't always know what the ins and outs of it all. Everyone needs to get behind him and give him a proper reception on Friday night. On top form, he's unreal at this level. Absolutely right, he is. And Tim agrees with you, Joe. Just shows footballers are people too. Good evening, David. Hi, Jimmy. Hope you're well. Looking forward to the watch along. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Like and subscribe. Yeah, so anybody that didn't catch it at the beginning, we'll be doing a watch along myself and my dad on Friday for the game. So come and join us if you don't want to listen to Andy Hinchcliffe and Andy Hinchcliffe, because I wouldn't either. What else have we got? Bri, good evening, pal. Evening, Jimmy, fellow Ramblers. Whatever we think about Anel, whether we wanted him to stay or go, nobody really knows what goes on in players' private lives. It's important to remember he's a human being and nobody deserves to be treated badly. So being our player, we should get totally behind him and treat him with the respect he deserves. Well said, pal. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Evening, Blades. Blades says, Dave the Nose Leary. Glad the international break is over and we can get back to business. Hopefully Anel is fit for Friday and we can get back behind him. Great to be at beautiful downtown Bramall Lane today. Always miss it when we're away. Hopefully everyone came through the international break and we can get 3 points to start the weekend. The weekend right. Up the Blades, up the Rambo. Liam, good evening, pal. Evening, Jimmy and all. We need to get all behind Anel on Friday. Just hope he's fit. The other big question is who starts on the right, Brooks or Raksaki? Well, that's up to you, mate. That's up to you. I'm going with Brooks just. For me, it's Brooks as he does his defensive work, and that'll be needed against Miller. But I'm confident 2-0 to us, I think, pal. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Evening, Ian. I'm cautiously optimistic about this one, going for a 2-0 Blades victory. Hopefully, Anel is fit to play, and I have no doubts that fans will show him some Blades love. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Like and subscribe. I haven't been pushing the like and subscribe much recently. We're not far away from that 5K target, and it'd be nice to get 5K before Christmas Day. There's a bit of a ring to that. Long-time viewers will appreciate that, but it just shows the peaks and troughs of YouTube. Sometimes you have a spike, and other times it's sort of more of a linear climb. But yeah, if you enjoy what we're doing, you're not already subscribed, please think about doing that. Support us. It's completely free. Evening, Jimmy. I'm excited for the football to be back and believe it's going to be another win, 3-1. I'm hoping for another solid performance. We're creating the chances, aren't we? But we're not putting them away. I'm still confident we smash somebody if we carry on this momentum. And that's going to be key, isn't it? Carrying the momentum forward. Chris says, come on, Blades, 3 points Friday night, please. But why do they still call it a Yorkshire derby? It's not, is it really? Well, it is east and south, but can't be at Hull. But if he plays, let's leave Anel. I can't be at Hull, but if he plays, let's give Anel the backing he needs. Absolutely right. CJ says, United love flipping Anel. Gotta love the stuff Anel has said. I thought he looked disinterested, but after hearing the stuff with his dad, and what's going on with his national team coach. It's understandable. Let's back him. Loads of similar sentiment. Evening, Jimmy. Great video about the scum the other day. Can we all get behind our Bosnian superstar now, please? Proper sad story reading that today. So I think it will do him the world of good. Absolutely right. Daz, good evening, pal. Hope we play well. If we do, we're a match for anybody in this league. Video about Leeds fans. Their articles have now twisted what Saki said and are pretending they didn't want him. Yeah, they didn't want him. They didn't want Gus Hamer. They didn't want Callum O'Hare. They didn't want Harrison Burrows. It's ridiculous. Evening, Cole. First live I've caught in a while. Hope you're doing well. I am, mate. Thank you. Hope you're doing okay too. Well, I'll say I am, but I'll say that. Feel for Anel and hope he's doing better now. This is all blown over for the lad. Only a matter of time till Kiefer comes good. I agree with that. Up the blades. Thank you, pal. How do Jimbo, says Scott. Hope you're well, pal. Love the salt and pepper one that was done because of the end. Oh, yeah. Egan and Claret. I know. Hopefully he can stay fit for Chesney. That's the big thing for him, isn't it? Pixie, good evening, pal. How do Jimmy, lad? What a powerful statement that was from Anel. Maybe that's why I wasn't at the races last season. My prediction is 3-0 Blades. Harold, good evening, pal. First comment, maybe? Wish Fleck all the best. He will do a good job for the Spy Rights. Remember the free kick he scored against the Wendy's? Of course we do. Cooper, Gilchrist, Suter, Anel, Burrows, Blaster, Souza. Oh, you've gone Raksaki. Fair dues. Evening, Key. Put Raksaki in from the start, and if we need some more defensive work, then bring Brooks on, says Jack. Danny says, evening, Jimmy. Managed to park up in time to catch you live. Top man. Thank you, mate. Can't wait for Friday night and a few beers and a takeaway. Watch the mighty red and white Wizards with the watch along. Beat Hull 1-3. Up the blades, up the ramble. Like and subscribe. Top man. Aid says, would like to see 60% possession and a better defensive shape when in possession to control things more. Anel's recovery pace has been excellent so far this season, stopping things in behind. Absolutely right, Ed. And I know you've got a keen eye for stats and the way the game develops. So fair dues. Oh, do you know what? Cap it. Me and Mrs. Ramble are going to have words because I said to her it's off. And I don't know whether it's just because of the angle of the camera to get them both in. Oh, dearie me. Yeah, I'll sort it, pal. I'll sort it. I'd go with that lineup, Jimmy, but swap Brooks for Raksaki. Big fan of Anel. Him and Suto look a decent partnership. Yeah, they do. At this level, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Josh, good evening, Jimmy. My team is the same as yours, but Saki on at the 60th minute for Brooks to make their left back cry. How can we show Anel that we're behind him? I think he'll just get the love, won't he? He'll get our away fans are fantastic. Obviously, I'll be at Derby with the majority, a load of like 25,000 blades. So we can show him there, but I think the away fans will do the business for us like they usually do. Evening, June. Fingers crossed for a win. Absolutely right. And the Man Mountain. Talk about the positivity train this season. Fair play to you, pal. 1-4, big win incoming. Top man. Hope you're well, bud. Chris finishes us off tonight saying, evening, Jim. Love the Blades badge behind you. Much better than that unlucky plant you had. 3-0 Blades. This one here. I know, mate. I know. You're right. Maybe that were it. I'll get rid of the plant, shall I? But thank you, everybody, for joining. We have only gone 3 minutes over, and there was so much to cram in. I got through a lot more comments than I thought I would. So thank you to everybody for joining us. If I haven't plugged it enough already, we are doing a watch-along on Friday night. Myself, and I should be adding in Andy the Blade into this graphic here because my dad's going to be joining us as well. And I know he gets the views, doesn't he? He gets the clicks to old Andy the Blade because, yeah, he's brilliant. He's brilliant. It's so funny the other night. If you haven't seen our transfer window review or wrap up, whatever we called it, the other night, then give it a watch because he's value for money, isn't he, that lad, and it's free. So anyway, thank you all for your time. Very much appreciated. Shout out to Anel Ahmedhodzic. We're all behind you, pal. Top man, top blade. But for now, come on, you red and white Wizards. Up the blade!